and the guilt for that failure had been eating away at me from the inside out like a cancer ever since. Mother May-I was born out of that howling pain. It was either draw or lose my fucking mind. Iris, the assistant at Black Star, wanted revised storyboards in a couple of weeks, but I had no clue how to find the heart of the story and no good place to work on it. Over the last 3 days, my food, cab fare, and rent at the shithole youth hostel where I was staying had eaten through my savings like a plague of locusts. I could go back to Vegas, but it felt like utter defeat. I needed a quiet place to think and sort this out. This corner of 6th Avenue wasn't the place to do it. I wiped my stinging eyes on the back of my sleeve, stupid wind, and stepped to the curb, hand raised to hail a cab before I remembered my dwindling funds. No more cabs, Miss Moneybags, I scolded myself. I'd have to brave the subway system or figure out the bus. I crossed the street to the subway station and took the staircase down. It was a short ride from Midtown to the hostel near the Port Authority. I emerged from the subway and walked along a busy sidewalk fronting adult stores, smoke shops, and bail bonds outlets. The Parkside hostel wasn't anywhere near a park, but sat above a tiny shop that sold NYC touristy kitsch. Sweatshirts and snow globes, keychains, and Statue of Liberty piggy banks. When I first got out of the cab 3 days ago, all the touristy junk made me smile. Like the naive, dumb shit I was, I'd bought a tacky postcard that screamed, "Making it in the Big Apple," across the top. It was cheesy as hell. And after one of the publishers wrote up a contract for Mother May-I was going to send the postcard to Theo, my friend and boss at the tattoo shop where I'd worked in Vegas. He'd get a laugh out of it. 2 steps inside the hostel's grungy foyer with its dirty tile and flickering fluorescents, I could already hear loud talk, shouting, and blaring music coming from the upstairs hallways. I could hardly sleep here, never mind work. My first night at the Parkside had been roommate-free. I spent the long hours like Tom Hanks in Big, rickety dresser pushed up against the door and me curled in a ball in the bed. I tried to make myself as small as possible while watching a roach scuttle along the floorboard against the wall, scared shitless. But I didn't cry. I unlocked the door to my room. The bright red and yellow of the postcard I bought for Theo was the first thing that caught my eye. The second thing was that every item of clothing I'd brought to New York, minus what I was wearing, were strewn all over the floor, along with travel-sized bottles of shampoo, soap, and lotion. Even my little box of birth control pills. The room had a bank of 4 lockers. My assigned locker's door was bent and hanging off one hinge. The second night of my stay, a roommate had stormed in, grunted her name, Jane, and dumped a ratty-looking sleeping bag onto her bed. She stuffed a blue duffel into one of the room's 2 lockers and took off. I hadn't seen her since. Now all her stuff was gone. The hell? My heart began to pound, and I backed straight out of the room, heading downstairs to the front desk, which resembled more of a subway toll booth. I rapped on the plexiglass with a shaking hand to get the attention of the manager. He was a bored-looking guy with a balding head and potbelly. He rifled through a nudie magazine and puffed a miniature cigar, the smoke of which filled the box and seeped out of the round hole cut at the bottom of the glass. "My room," I said. "Someone broke into my room. They went through my bag. My roommate is gone, and so is her stuff. Maybe it was her?" I don't know what I expected. The same level of outrage, maybe, or at least mild concern. Instead, the guy heaved a sigh and tossed his magazine down. "Christ, did you remember to lock the fucking door on your locker?" I stared. "What?" "Yes, of course," I said, anger burning up some of my fear. "Yeah, I locked the damn door, but someone tore it off." "Shit," the guy said. "Did they steal anything?" "I don't know," I said. I kind of freaked out. I didn't stick around to look. Of all the stupid things I'd done since getting here, leaving my money in that hostel room was not one of them. I kept my stash tucked into a wallet that attached to my belt loop and fed under my black pants. I carried my laptop with my art portfolio. The only other items of value were my art supplies. Oh my God.